Oh boy, everything looks so yuck. There's no bright colors. The trees have lost their leaves. The sky even looks kind of gray. It's that time of year, friends. Hi, friends. Welcome to Up and Atom. I'm Miss Wendy, and I had to bundle up today. Well, it's not quite winter officially yet. There has been a little bit of snow showers here and there, but nothing's really stuck. But one thing's for certain, the bright colors, the greens, they've all disappeared. So I've heard people say the shortest day of the year, and I've heard other people say the winter solstice. So what is it anyways? And so this week for Up and Atom, being that it's close to winter solstice, I thought we would take time to look at what that means. Now, winter solstice typically is around December 22nd. This year with leap year, it's on December 21st. And it's kind of the official astronomical start of winter. Now, I know a lot of people think that as soon as they see the snow fly that it means winter. Well, in reality, the winter solstice is a day where from that day forward and into the next season of spring, the days actually start to add more daylight. So I know we used to get excited seeing 1 more minute or 2 more minutes of daylight as we got closer into the springtime. So the winter solstice is actually the shortest day of the year in opposite relation to the summer time, where we have the longest day of the year. On June 21st of this year, we had the most daylight. So pretty interesting, huh? So as spring approaches, as I said, the days we start to see more daylight. Something to think about. And as we look at what this means, it's actually the tilt of the Earth towards the sun, right? So we're probably further away in this hemisphere from the sun, so our light and our heat and all that becomes a little bit different. So we have that quite the change in our seasons, don't we? And something I wanted to share with you is that we have some other seasonal changes that I wanted to give some words and some thought to, including the spring equinox, and then it rolls to the summer solstice, the autumn equinox, and then, as we were discussing today, the winter solstice. So it's like a cycle. So we've talked about the water cycle. Well, these are the seasonal cycles, and we see those go round and round, and they always are coming, they never stop. So I wanted to make sure to point out, as I briefly stated, that in the summertime, during the summer solstice, we have the longest day. The opposite of that being the winter solstice, being the shortest day. And it's really how we view the amount of daylight that we get and the tilt towards the sun that provides either the light and then also, of course, the heat that we receive in our hemisphere. This does not hold true for all parts of the world. So for Australia, for example, I wanted to share, it would be the opposite. So the winter solstice would actually be when they're having their summer, right? When we're having winter, they're having summer. Because they're on, if you look at our world, they're in a different part of the hemisphere, right? So it's definitely something to think about. Some other facts about the winter solstice. Solstice comes from 2 Latin words, sol, S-O-L, meaning sun, and sister, meaning to stand still. Solstice, or solsticer, I should say, which means to stand still. So it's a great reminder that something new is changing when we see the winter solstice. That means it's, maybe everything doesn't look green and lush and beautiful, but actually we know that it's a rebuilding. We know that spring is coming. So what kinds of things can we do? Brr, when it's cold. Well, let's think about our critters outside and perhaps make a pinecone bird seed feeder. You can spread either vegetable shortening if you have an allergy, or you can use peanut butter and roll it into some bird seed. You can also do it by scooping out the innards of an orange and put the bird seed inside of that and just set it out on a branch for our little critters outside. So thinking about our animals that are outside and maybe can't see some of their food items because the snow has buried it, that'd be a lovely way to help celebrate the winter solstice. Some other fun things might be, well, you can cut some snowflakes out of paper by just simply folding the paper and doing a couple of snips. I would love to see your snowflakes, so share them on our Instagram page. A simple how to make a snowflake. I just took some white printer paper or copy paper and some scissors. First, you'll want to fold one corner over to match up to make a perfect square. It looks kind of weird because it's a rectangle, but wait a minute, how are we going to make it a square? Cut off that little section, which kind of makes a little skinny rectangle, if you will, and it'll become your square. Next, fold that into a triangle, and then fold it one more time into a smaller triangle. Should look sort of like this. Next, you're going to take the left part of the triangle and you're going to fold it over kind of in the rule of thirds. So it'll look kind of like, maybe like a bunny ear, if you will. Next, fold over the right side. Once you've done that, it'll look sort of like this. You'll need to flip that shape over that you folded. And now you'll see kind of a couple of folds. You're going to cut right across where you see that line where the extra ears, basically cut that extra ears off. And it'll look like a cone shape. Once you have that cone shape, this is where the real fun begins. You're just going to cut little random shapes out of this cone. Don't cut completely across because you'll cut it in half, but just little tiny little snippets, triangles, circles, squares, whatever your heart desires. It'll look kind of funny and like very unusual, but just like every snowflake, they're all unique. As you start to open it up, won't you be surprised to see this unique, beautiful snowflake? As always, I would love to hear how you celebrated the winter solstice. Did you make a bird feeder or a bunch of snowflakes? Let's see it. Tag us at Manlius Library, hashtag Miss Windy on Instagram. And some more books on winter solstice can be found at the Manlius Library, including Goodbye Autumn, Hello Winter, The Shortest Day, Tree, The Weather Girls, and Humbug. These are just a sampling of some books that you can find at the Manlius Library.